Alright, so this is about a week after the whole mask bathtub video that I did. I'm out here on the lake, and what's interesting about it is, you know, I've always had a sort of hard time with, there's some birds or something, wind, who cares? I've sort of had a hard time doing these videos, I've kind of known I had to do these, or in the sense that I want to put my stories out there. I want to talk more freely, but it's just kind of impossible, There's the hopelessness with it, who cares? I put these stories out there, who gives a shit? And that's not false. Part of it's like, I don't really see anything. I don't see anything worth joining. I don't see anything worth... Okay, hold on. I'm going off course here. Hold on a second. It's kind of difficult to do this in a kayak, but let's do it. So anyways, I've had a sort of hard time finding anything where it's like, this is kind of worth joining, this is worth showing up for, because I just don't see my personality, my unique personality, or any of this stuff reflected anywhere. It's not like I can show up and say, here's me, I think I fit in here, and let's take it from here. There's just, that hasn't been. I tried doing that with Grero. That, as we know, has so famously worked out that there's 2 people listening to this. So thank you, 2 people listening to this, but, it's just not what it should be, right? And I've sort of known that I should just put my stories out there. And, almost every day I kind of think about stuff, and these sort of stories, and I think they're fine. I think, if I coherently put them up, maybe they could be something, or at least, put them up and see. If I don't put them up, well, no one sees it, and then what's the point? And I just, again, I can't passively sort of find anything. So it's this crossroads of, I've kind of always figured I can't find anything. And I've kind of hoped against that. Oh, well, maybe it'll work. Nope. And it's just the hard sort of realization that I'm not just going to trip into something. I'm not going to walk into something that is, what do you call it? Just in any way interesting. And this just boringness of just keeping to myself just sucks, So today is September 28th still. I'll put it up probably tonight because I can't put it up from here, and it still is, a couple of minutes. Is there a way to... No, the clock doesn't come... I don't want to turn this off. But there's still a couple minutes to midnight, I guess. So it's still September 28th, 2020. And I guess for stories, 3 minutes in, let's actually get to the story, right? September 28th, 2005 is when my parents and I came back from Austin after spending a week there. September 21st, Wednesday, 2005. Look it up. Wednesday, September 28th, 2005 is when we came back. Because it was, you remember, New Orleans, Hurricane Katrina, the big one, hit New Orleans that summer. And we're not in New Orleans. We were in Houston. And then about a month later, they're like, Hurricane Rita is going to hit Houston. And it was like, I think at the time was the biggest civilian evacuation or something. And we were part of that. So that was cool, driving to Austin. I kind of slept most of the way, but it took, 8 hours? Usually it takes 2 or 3. So anyways, we were in Austin staying at a friend's place. By the way, the hat's going to figure into this. I'm glad I brought the hat. I probably mentioned this story before, but whatever. So, and I hated college. It sucked. And, it was just boring, The classes were boring, and it's like, what am I doing here? I don't want to do any of these jobs that most people do. But it's not like I had any side things going on. I had a little hobby that would figure very prominently in this story. So when I came back on September 28th, I kind of have a small nervous breakdown, let's say. It was just like, I can't do this anymore, and I hate college. I fucking hate this. So I slapped some Adsense ads on my website, mostly the gaming part of it, the Antcon arcade back in the old days, hence Antcon of Grero now. Antcon of Antcon as well, but, that's kind of the joke that no one gets because no one listens to this. But anyways, and I wasn't making a lot of money, but, I slapped the ads on September 28th at night. And then the next morning when I woke up, I was making, I don't know, let's say $20. I could look it up. But it was the smallest imaginable amount of money, really. It was just a couple bucks, But I was like, oh, if you multiply it out by 30 days, then, oh my God, I'm making like $2,000 a month. I'm quitting college on this. That's what I quit college on. In fact, I was making a whole lot less money in the coming weeks, but maybe we'll save that for another day, that story, But that's kind of it, is, since then, it's just been like everybody else likes college or does enough with it, and it's just like impossible to find people who aren't like wedded into all this nonsense, It's kind of been impossible to find quasi-functional people like myself who aren't like, I don't know, homeless and mumbling to themselves, who aren't because there are people who don't want to be part of this whole system here and kind of just find the whole thing boring, but are, just, I don't know, they're homeless in parks or something, I don't know. But it was, the college thing, it just sucked so much. It was just so boring. And I'd rather just start a business, rather just start that. And I guess that's it. I don't know. I thought I'd have a better one today. I like the bathtub thing. It took 30 minutes to get it out, but it was fine. But anyway, so the dopey story about 15 years ago, how I came back from Austin to be just disappointed with the fact that college was still in existence, and the hurricane didn't destroy everything, I guess. With that disappointment, it was just awful to realize college is going to go back, and what job am I going to find? It was just so, I can't imagine myself doing any of that garbage. It just seemed so, this is all so boring, And to go back to the story, because again, everything with me is it references itself a million times, but that's 15 years ago. And I do have stories to tell. Like in 2005, in January, as I've mentioned before, just not a big fan of my parents, let's just say. They're garbage, and it's not just them, it's again, just the fact that most people were okay with college, most people were okay with everything, that stuff, it's like, I'm not okay with that, That's just my baseline personality, is just, I can't go along with this crap, Anyways, what's my point? So my point is really, this story, I know, it's not the best told. I don't know. Maybe I'll get some practice. But how do we get practice? We do these things, and even if they don't come out good like right now, I'm not too pleased with this. But I'm pleased that I'm doing it. I'm pleased that I'm finally recording it. And I kind of just want to do one every day. Okay, so I mentioned this before, but I do journal things every day. Sometimes it's literally a minute, I jot down the boring things I did that day. Sometimes it gets a little longer. Some of those would actually be interesting to upload one day. But again, that takes effort, and I'm not going to do it. Or at least haven't, Because, finding old entries, and you could even sort the files and find the bigger ones and just upload it. No, can't do that. Sorry, that takes effort. Nope. But the point is, I do that every day. I do record, even if it's just a minute or two, sometimes 2, 3, 4 minutes, sometimes 15, sometimes over an hour. But I do it every day, and it does not feel like a chore, really. It feels like, all right, I got to do this. I can't not do it. That it's the end of the day, let's do it. Let's do that minute. And even when I'm feeling really shitty, even when I'm feeling really good, it's like we got to do it. So there's a sort of routine to it, there's a routineness to it. And again, some of the, it's super boring. There might be a couple longer ones that might be interesting to put out, just because, again, if I'm competent enough to put these things out, but I'm still kind of lazy, it'd be easier just to upload that and not really do too much work. Just here's an old file, this is some boring thing I talked about a few years ago. That's it. And 5 minutes is about, how I swam today or something. I don't know. But the point is, it's good to have some routines, and I do some routines. It's not like I'm completely off the walls and everything is totally different every day. It's kind of boring and predictable, as much as I don't like it. But I do that every day, okay? That's the point. I do it every day. So why, after 10 minutes, we get to the punchline here, so why can't I do this every day? You know, and it's not that hard of a question. I'm going a little off course here. No, it's fine. It's just sort of tough, you know, putting this out there, and part of it is it's hard to find the words. Today I'm not feeling too good about this. Again, I feel good that I'm doing it, but it's just all over the place. You know, I wish I had that ability to just tell the stories how I want to in the kind of linear fashion. And I can kind of visualize it. If I had done that 5 years ago or whatever, then I'd already be, you know, maybe I at least would have put it out there, but it's just, part of it is the hopelessness. It is like a message in the bottle that you toss into, I don't know, a lake or something. Let's not toss the phone in the lake, though. And who cares about this stuff, right? I mean, I sort of do, but yeah. But that's the point, is precisely because I don't see anywhere to go to talk about these sort of things. It's just like, what the fuck is the point? You know that blue book I mentioned, Toxic Parents by Susan? I've mentioned this, every other thing that I do, every other year. Who cares? It's always that hopelessness of, whatever. Who fucking cares? And yet, at times, oh boy, whoever's living here with the echo here, I sure hope. Ah, there's an echo, yeah. Well, it's around midnight, so if they're listening, then, you know. But the point is, I do at least want to commit to putting something up every day like this for 30, let's do 30 days, okay? Let's just do it and just fucking do it. Even if it's shitty shit like today. And again, it's good enough that I'm doing it and whatever, but this is not, you know, quality stuff. And that's fine. That's fine. Because we just one foot in front of another, and that's that. And that's kind of, I've sort of lost that spirit. You know, I still retain some of the sort of anxiety of what the fuck is my life about and everything. But when I had that 15 years ago, exactly 15 years ago, right? Because that's when I came back from Austin. I did have that kind of go-getter spirit of, okay, college is miserable. I'd literally rather kill myself than be here, okay? I mean, it was almost, but pretty seriously, actually, and I've talked about the suicide stuff, and I will many, many more times. What is a good, no, I don't want to play director either. Just, it's an audio-only production, just fuck it, who cares? But I had enough of that kind of go-getter spirit to where, all right, fuck it. I'm just going to do the website, I'm going to do the games, and we'll just fucking do it. And it became a success, as much as a success as it can be. And I did pretty well enough to where I can bitch about, you know, how nothing else is going right with my life on a lake at midnight. So, you know, I do have that lack of sort of spirit. I still have that anxiety about, oh God, my life's not going anywhere and everything sucks, but I just don't have that motivation to actually do anything anymore. Because again, where do I go? I don't think I'm wrong in that. I don't think I'm incorrect in that. But I could at least just, you know, do a shitty little video a day and maybe get some more practice. And again, people come across it. I talk about some topics that other people are interested in, and I don't know. Maybe I find some like-minded people. Because again, maybe I brought this math up because I have a very difficult time separating what is in my brain and what are the few things that I have put out on this channel and in these videos. And no, it just doesn't matter. Okay. So, but you know, the way I look at it, there's 7 billion people. Most of them just garbage. Doesn't matter. Yeah, who cares? You know, I don't care to them. They don't matter to me. The feeling is mutual, right? But, you know, we divide that. A percent of that is, oh boy, math again. 7 billion. I'm less warm in the bathtub and my brain is less fried. So that's 70 million. I actually got the month thing wrong last time. I said it's been 7 months because I counted the first month as a month. So it was March, April. No. It's April is the first month after. So it started in the middle of March. So April, May, June, July, August, and September. So it's actually been 6 months plus wherever you're counting. It's not 7. Yeah, okay. Yeah, if you're keeping track of that, you earned yourself a gold star. If you're like, no, it's not 7, it's 6 plus something. It's not, no, it's 7th month, but not right. Okay. So, but because my brain is not fried from the hot tub in my bathroom, we can do the math. So 7 billion people, 70 million people, that's 1%. 1% of that is 7,070,000. 1% of that is 7,700 people. So 1% of 1% of 1%, that's 700 people, right? I don't really need that many people, who are compatible with me, who kind of get this stuff. Whatever this stuff is, maybe we'll get to it one day. Maybe after 10,000 podcasts, we'll get to it. I don't know. But that's kind of it, is how do you find compatible people that are worth living for, basically? Where do you find that? And that's been the struggle, is, okay, I'll passively kind of try to find that, and that hasn't been a success, has it? It's been a miserable failure, in fact. And kind of being able to say that now is progress, It is sort of progress to be able to say, yep, this just sucks. There has been nothing worth living for thus far. I mean, it's not terrible. I'm not in agony, but it's just, okay, it's just so unfulfilled. It's just. So the other story, this is good. So the other story in 2005, I don't know what insects are calling on me, in 2005, in January, and I found the Photoshop file. It's a .psd from my old computer. This is some super big mosquito, or what the hell is this? I think the camera gets to see it. Nope, it fell down. Hitting against this house over here, so let's pat a little bit. There's a lot of houses along the shore here. You don't see that because it's at night, but I guess you'll have to take my word for it. So anyways, back to the exciting story of the 2005 Photoshop file. And it has like a date modified of 2005 January something. So again, over 15 years ago. And it was this Photoshop file of, it was a book cover, because I wanted to write a book. This is not working. Okay, the book was not working. Hold on, let's see. Good Lord. This is a pretty cool little headlight, but if you make it too tight, I get a headache from it, and if it's not too tight, then it flies into my eye. So anyways, back to the story. This one definitely is going to need some timestamps to where I can get, because I keep restarting. That's fine. No cuts, no nothing. So the Photoshop file in 2005, right? And now I'm going to hit the houses over here, because this is a relatively narrow. That's fine. So Photoshop file 2005. And I remember the Photoshop file, I open it up and I say, oh, this is from 2005. That's interesting. And I remembered that I did this. It was a nice kind of memory refresher. And it was Happy Face Dictatorship, right? And there was a Photoshop file. That was the book cover I wanted to write a book. And it was this smiley face with this kind of Hitler mustache on it. A Happy Face Dictatorship. Oh, you get that? It's so wonderful, right? So anyways, that's what I did. And I wanted to write about my shitty parents, right? Which was, am I the only one getting this? Am I the only one who's like, this is not how I want to be treated, And it's not about, parents and boohoo, all this trauma. And so it's like, it's not quite that. It's, no, this is garbage behavior. They're boring people. They don't talk about anything interesting. This was right after high school. So, I kind of read some stuff on atheism, read some stuff on this, and I just can't talk to anyone about it, including my shitty parents. That was my only complaint with them, that they were boring, but they were just overbearing. And it's even with that one little Photoshop file, I think I could do I could do a video on it that's a little better than this one, right? I wrote to my shitty parents, I wrote a letter where I wanted to get the fuck away from them, like in 2006. I have that letter. I saved that. I actually have a rough version of it. I have the final draft version. After I almost sent it to them, I kind of reconnected with them because, again, what's the point? It's not like you can talk to anyone about this, including them, including anyone else. And that's the point. It's not them that are shitty, it's everyone else, because you can't talk to anyone else about this stuff. You can't go anywhere with this stuff. That's the sort of, I don't know what the word for it is. I kind of accept that now, that, again, there's just very few people who want to, good Lord, my eye, ow. There's very few people who, there's really no one who wants to really talk about this stuff, And again, that goes back to the math. 7 billion people. We don't need 7 billion. We don't need 70 million. Again, 770, 71. That would be good, right? But again, I cannot passively find that, so I do have to put these things out. I do have to put this stuff out there. And even if it's just shitty rambling like today, where I can't even finish one dopey story, that's fine. We'll get the hang of it at some point. Because in my mind, and sometimes when I'm talking out loud but not recording, I think I have a pretty good, chit-chat about things. And maybe that's the progress here is it has taken this long to get all this stuff, because it's not like there's anywhere to go with this, so it's not too shocking that it is kind of hard to start this. There really isn't too many places. I just don't see it. I would love a world where people can just kind of give their memoirs, or what I want to do with this stuff, and just kind of connect on that level. But it's just such a boring world, really. And I'm kind of tired of what am I waiting for? I can't passively find anything. So I'm just going to have to put these stories out there, And that's it. Even in 2005, January, that was the first time I came back to my old home after college. That was our first year in college. First of last, I didn't spend too many years in college. Because again, going back to the September 28th, 2005 story, I was like, I'm going to get the fuck out of here. That was officially my second year. Fall 2005, but it was just so incredibly miserable there. And I know I got a lot of good stories in me, and I don't want to hide behind, with Grero, when I wrote it, it was easier to hide behind all the nerdy stuff and scholarly stuff, and I still like it. I still kind of want to talk about that. But even with that, I remember the story, that Beatific story that I quoted at length in there. I kind of want to read through that, and because it's not just the story, it's, I couldn't talk about the story because, again, happy face dictatorship, Photoshop file. Couldn't talk to my parents about it, but can't talk to anyone else about it. And part of that Beatific story is, well, do you want to wait for that? Well, whatever, I'm rambling, who cares? But the ending of the story is this, well, I don't want to go into. Did I even do it last video? I don't know. My memory is just shot, isn't it? But look, it's been 24 minutes. This is good. So the takeaway message is, what's the takeaway message? The takeaway message is everything sucks, and that's fine. I can accept that now. And I just have to put my stories out there. There's nothing to wait for. I had this hope of, oh, maybe some other people have this figured out. Maybe they do, but, especially with the internet, you think you'd be able to find them by now, but you haven't, so. My eye. Okay. And that's it. I just want to tell my bullshit stories, and I don't want to even downplay it like that. They're fine, It's just, it is tough because to realize, okay, the Beatific story that I quote in Grero, that meant a lot to me. I think I read in high school, I would say. I don't think it was in college. I think it was in high school, because it kind of blurs together, the last years of high school and, well, kind of all of high school and the year or two or college, because it was all the same bullshit. But I'm fairly certain it was in high school. So this was like 2003 or 4, for fuck's sake. And it just still goes back to that I couldn't talk about this one story that meant something to me. And you could say, oh, because it's the fag stuff, and oh, it's the story's about two guys who kind of like each other. It's a guy who wrote in to a website when he was in his 50s or something, and he's like, oh, I got a story that's relevant for your website. I don't want to retell the story. Who cares? I'll tell. That is an important story for me, so I'll have to retell, hopefully in a better, less rambling fashion. And it is hard to organize my thoughts, because again, it's 15, 20 years of this, and it's just, where do I even start with this stuff? Well, I guess here. And and telling these stories has been freeing, even when I don't record it. And I do feel better now after almost 30 minutes of it. And that's the only path forward. Well, there's another path, and we mentioned that before. And maybe that's another. We could title that video Limbo. There's this rational case I could make for suicide. There's a rational case I could make for telling these stories. And completely irrationally, I find myself in the limbo of doing neither, I haven't just said, fuck it, let me just kill myself. And I haven't said, fuck it, let me just tell my stories. Except, I guess, right now. Right? Yeah, that'll be titled Limbo, I guess. So again, lots of good little ideas. Oh boy. But it has been tough to tell these stories, because again, where do I start? No one gives a shit ultimately, so who cares? And maybe the few people do fine, but it's tough to tell stories knowing that the story is that I couldn't tell the story, right? The story of, there's this website that had this story of a guy writing in, and this means a lot to me. Okay, but it's that meant a lot to me 15 years ago, and I couldn't tell a single person until now, right? Or I tried putting that in Grero, and I guess one or two people emailed about that, or specifically actually, or mentioned it too. But yeah, again, for functional purposes, no one cares, right? And then that's the story. And then it's like, well, come join me in my misery of, not having anyone get this stuff. Right? And then because no one gets this stuff, I don't put it out there. And then definitely no one gets this stuff. And then I can be miserable and, yeah, that's that whole cycle, But it is nice to finally talk about it. And look, it is that cynical. It is that pessimistic, because that's what it is. There's no happy... Hopefully there's a happy ending to it. But there's... Uh-oh, where did the earbuds go? Not that it matters, because I'm not hearing anything. I just kind of always have it in. But that's it. So again, the takeaway message, I do want to commit myself to doing 30 of these once every day. And again, it is freeing to do it, and it's rambling. I don't give a shit. Then it's rambling. And it doesn't have to be deep every time. I know I did a screenshot of this where my face is on camera, but I have a little app that records what's on the screen. And it's me playing Cactus poker from the old site, right? The Antcon arcade. And it's funny because I win, right? But the point is, it doesn't matter. The point is, not all of this has to be serious. I want to do a couple little home improvement videos where I put these anti-slip things on the stairs because I fell down once or twice. I did a pretty decent job. I did those last July, so they've been up for over a year. They're really good. I haven't slipped down the stairs. if you follow the right steps. And I'll do it. I don't have to do that right now. But the point is, it's just, again, I want to get out of this meh. I just don't want to do any videos, and then I feel miserable about it, and then I want to get away from that. But we're on the 30-minute mark. I don't want to do too much more than 30 minutes, you know? So that's it. Let's do it once every 30 days, even some pre-recorded stuff, and that's it.